right, good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're excited to have you. My name is Ayo Akinrotimi, from New Frontiers Learning Center, and I'm going to be your host tonight. And together with me are two special people on this edition of Cracking the CFA Level 1 and 2 exams. Reading your exam is reading the curriculum, taking classes is one thing, but then passing the exam is then another thing. You must be strategic. You must understand the what, the how, the way. You must know how to get things done, right? And help you achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve, which is essentially passing the CFA exams and earning the CFA charter. And that's what we'll be discussing tonight. So welcome once again. If you know someone who should be on this call, please reach out to them. It's time. We're starting on the dot of 6, and it's going to be a beautiful night. So let me begin by introducing our special friends tonight. Thank you very much, Oriofe Olamoyegun, for joining. Olamoyegun, forgive me, for joining us tonight, and Azinat Afolabi. It's such a pleasure to have you. Good evening. How are you today?
Yeah, good evening, Ayo. Yeah, it's my pleasure being here this evening. Thank
Thank,
you.
thank you, Oriofe. And Azinat.
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Azinat. Okay, so I'll just take your profiles, and we get into um, the questions, and we just dive right into it. We know what we are trying to achieve. It's clear how to crack the CFA level 1 and 2 exams, right? Azinat will focus a lot more on level 1, which she has passed. She's a level 2 candidate right now, and Oriofe would focus on level 1 and 2. Very soon, I'll bring him back for level 3 because, I mean, what are we talking about now? So you pass your exam, so don't worry. All right. So let me take the profiles quickly. So let me begin with ladies first now. Let me begin with Azinat Afolabi tonight. So Azinat Afolabi is a recent, I mean, before I go further, I need to confirm that I'm both visible and audible from the audience. Can you hear me? Can you see me? It's important. This meeting is set up for you, so I need to know that you can both hear me and see me. Okay, I see one. I see one, and I'll take 5 people. I see one. I see Abdullah. Thank you, Abdullah, for confirming. Who else can see and hear? Okay, I see Olushi. I see Tess. I see Dan. Okay, thank you. So I have that 4. I think I'm good that way. Yeah, 4. Okay, for Lauren 5. Thank you very much, guys. So let's get into it quickly. So I'll begin with the profile of our speakers tonight. So Azinat Afolabi is a recent economics graduate from the University of Ilorin. She's a chartered accountant and has successfully passed the CFA Level 1 exam. Azinat currently works as an investment analyst at Zrosk. Is it Zrosk or Xerosk? Forgive me. Azinat, which one is it?
Xerox. Yeah,
Zrosk.
sorry, Xerox Investment Management.
Excellent. Zrosk
Yeah.
Investment Management. That's good. I like that name. Where she applies a strong at Zrosk, she's an investment management. She works as an investment analyst at Zrosk Investment Management, right? And there she applies her strong analytical and financial skills. She has also gained valuable experience through her internship with Rand Merchant Bank and KPMG Deal Advisory. Azinat is deeply passionate about finance and she's committed to continuous learning. And those are the qualities that have shaped her journey in the investment space thus far. Good evening, Azinat, and welcome once again to cracking the CFA Level 1 and 2 exams. Welcome.
Thank you
So,
so much. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Okay, so Oriofe Olamoyegun is a finance professional with extensive experience in financial advisory, investment banking, and corporate finance. He's a chartered accountant and a CFA level 3 candidate. So I have 2 chartered accountants in the room tonight. I like this one. So with a strong background in financial due diligence, business valuation, restructuring, and financial modeling. Oriofe is currently the team lead for financial advisory at Creston Pedabo, where he has led major advisory projects, including equity investments, asset spin-offs, and valuations across Nigeria and Ghana. He currently manages and mentors teams, ensuring high quality deliverables and strategic financial insights for clients. And in addition to his professional achievements, Oriofe is certified as an advanced financial modeler by the Financial Modeling Institute, all right? And he's an active member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN. Institute of Chartered Accountants Nigeria, ICANN. So welcome once again, Oriofe. Thank you for agreeing to do this for us tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ayakunle. It's my pleasure to be
Yes.
here this
Yeah.
evening.
You know, the first question I always like to ask is so you've told me, I mean, I've read out your profile. So again, if there's anything I missed out, you will say it in this opening speech. But then, why did you opt for a career in finance? And this is why I always ask this question. I know we are here to talk about the CFA exams, but this is why I always start here. It's because I believe strongly in the law of first principles, right? If you understand your why, I mean, the CFA is an exam, and you will attest to it for someone like you, who has written the three levels of your exams, and Azina too is getting ready to write even the second level. You will attest to the fact that it's an exam that will test your why. And ask you, why am I even doing this exam? I'm already a chartered accountant. Perhaps my line manager doesn't even have the CFA charter, and he's doing pretty well, right? I mean, what exactly am I doing? Why am I even writing this exam? It will question your why. It will test your why, along the journey. So I like to know why. Why did you opt for a career in finance? Maybe I should start with Mazina tonight. Why finance for you?
All right. Thank you very much for that. So, my interest in finance actually started in my first year. I studied
Mhm.
economics. So, as an economics student, I just thought about it. Aside from economics, what else can I add to this qualification, right? Because when you look at economics, it is that you are more focused in the public sector or you work as an economics firm. But I've always
Mm,
wanted to have this competitive advantage ahead of my classmates. I mean, if you graduate with economics BSc, what is that
yeah.
one thing that would differentiate me? And I started
Hmm.
looking at other things that I could have to, and I saw accounting and I saw finance. I was like,
Hmm.
I can do the theory. I mean, there are things that are really, really interwoven, right? That was when I
Yeah.
optioned for ICANN certification, and I was
Excellent.
chartered before 300 level. Then I started building my
Oh,
career in finance as
interesting.
well from 100 level. Yeah, so by
Oh,
300 level, I did KPMG Nigeria, 400 level, rank merchant bank. So for me, it was just that I just wanted to be the best at whatever I'm doing, right? So I'm like,
excellent.
this thing, I can have the three of them. So why not? I
Yeah.
started building career in accounting with through I can, then CM finance. I did all this financial modeling. I did all the courses back in school. Then
Mhm.
internships. Then I also love writing exams. Probably that would be the answer to why it's CFA. I love writing professional exams. So after because the day I finished CFA level one, that was the deadline for AFM exam, and I registered for AFM that same day. I've never even rested
Interesting.
from the exam. I just wrote. That's how much I love. I just love to be the best at whatever I do. And then the whole process of learning finance, I loved it. I was like, I know this is interesting, so why not be the best at it? And yeah, I think it has been a fantastic journey. And the fact that finance helped me to use my knowledge of economics, the accounting, and everything just
Mhm.
plays out together, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that would be my reason for being in finance, and it has been an amazing journey so far.
Excellent. So being the best is your primary driver, your key motivator, and
Yeah,
you believe that when it comes to exams in the finance and investment space, irrespective of all that you have right now, it's either the CFA or nothing, right?
yeah, or nothing.
Exactly. I mean, you really just want to be at a place. So what makes life difficult or challenging for people most times is the uncertainty that comes with life sometimes. But then what you really want to do is that you want to make a number of factors predictable, if you understand what I'm saying. So you may not be able to determine the outcome all the time. You might not have control over the outcome all the time, but then you want to make the factors, right, that contribute to the outcome. You want to be able to play around those factors and be able to have control over them, which is, probably what you're doing right now with your career. So you might not be able to say exactly in very exact terms where you're going to be in 20 years, in 10 years in the finance and investment space. But then you want to be able to say, if an opportunity comes up at the very top, I want to be among the first three that will be considered, if you get what I'm saying. Exactly. So, and then that means the CFA helps you to get to achieve that goal and achieve that dream, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that's a really beautiful one. Well done, Asina. Urefe, let's hear from you. Is your story the same, or what would be your why finance for you?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Ayakunle. And same as on that, like so for me too, I wrote my ICANN when I was in school, undergraduate, finished my ICANN. I happen to come from um to have a background that is finance inclined. My dad is a
Oh,
chartered accountant.
excellent.
So a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. So I was able to, although he did not force me to do accounting, right, or study accounting. So for me, right from when I was young, I've known that I want to become a banker, right? Right. Although, as life may have it, I'm a banker, but just an investment banker, right? So I always love mathematics during my secondary school. Was the best when it comes to mathematics in my secondary school. And when it was time to decide which course was I going to do, okay, I want to go to OAU, right, and accounting, right? So I studied that, and that just helped my finance background. Now I got to the crossroad where I don't think I want to do accounting. So because for me, I think it's quite monotonous, right? I want to be in the act of making decisions. I'm happy to rack my brain on deals, want to make investment decisions, right? And finance, investment banking is the thing for me, right? I did that, right? So I did that. That's what that's my venture into finance, right? I love numbers. I want to be part of an investment process. Maybe after writing level three, right, of CFA, maybe I would share a little bit in as an art sentiment that I love to write uh, professional exam. But I too I was telling some of my team members that I've been writing professional exams since maybe 2015 when I started my AAT, right? 8 years. I've been writing professional exam. You know, when I finished my CFA level one, I wrote 2023, 2024, and 2025. Well, I'm still looking to write more and what have you, but I think just to be the best at what you do, because I believe for me, not just only writing certification exam, but being the best at what you do, and then seeking knowledge and then deriving wisdom for what you do. Because yeah, it's not just about writing the professional exam. There are a lot of value creation that it has impacts my very self. So that's what how I opt into the finance space, right? My background, and I want to become a banker. That's what I want to really be, and find myself doing accounting. And in the crossroad of accounting and finance, I move into finance because I don't want to be doing things that are quite monotonous. Apologies to the accountant on the call.
Yeah, we hear that all the time. I mean, so thank you very much, Moriofe and Azina. I mean, essentially, in short, the what I see here is the desire to just be the best, right? To stay ahead of the pack, to make the options wider, right? It's one of the things that drive this this dream of being a CFA charter holder, right? Please, guys, if you know someone who should be on this call, please send them a message like we have done on the chat. The link is just there. It's the same link that many of you joined with, so you can just share with somebody. No long registrations, blah blah blah. They just join it, right? And it helps them tonight. Okay. Haven't said why finance because I think that you must have a strong why because before you take an exam like this, and I think I love the perspective that both of you have brought in tonight. The what I then want to ask is let's talk about your biggest memories in level one and level two. So Oriofe, when you talk tonight, your bias will be to level one and two, but then for Azina it will be clearly for level one. What would you say were your biggest memories in level one? Azinat, let's go.
For me, it would be the people because
Oh.
I believe so much in helping people around. I mean, when you have your friends and you're writing the same exam together, there's this ginger, there's this, and New Frontier gave me that, and I'll forever be grateful for that. So starting initially, I wanted to read CFA level one by myself, but when I opened that curriculum, I said, "Nah, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this alone." So my biggest memory was like having friends that would just talk about the syllabus,
Hmm.
we have each other, and it was just fun. Like, when you have people around that you are studying together and you have the same goal, it sort of just makes the journey easier. So I don't think I would ever remove the factor of having people and new friends because there are people that I don't really know from nowhere, but I get to meet them when I attended class at New Frontier. So my biggest memory for level one will be with the people that we studied together, and this stuff made my journey really easier. So I would say that's my biggest memory for level one.
I mean, yeah, and I get that all the time because it's one of the challenging things about taking an exam like this one is the challenge of finding that that large number of people who are headed in the same direction as yourself. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. That community of people who are headed in the same direction as yourself, shared goals, shared vision, to head in the same direction. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure I remember, I know that this is always a big deal because a lot of candidates always say this, every time we ask about what their biggest memories are for level one and maybe for level two. Let's find out. Oriofe, is it the same for yourself?
So for me, the people cannot be cut out of the memory, to be sincere. People cannot be cut out of it because then you begin to see yourself that when you are down, you know, you see people firing up. We have a clique, right, in my own CFA set, the ginger set, right? You see people just gingering, right? People on fire, and you just like I've been writing this exam together. We usually make fun of ourselves, like it's because of you that the MPS is going to go high. So but the people are part of the process. So but for me also is the materials, right? The people and the material. The material are very, very rich for anybody that want to want to make their mark in the finance space. I was reading a post recently, say a week ago, that says the CFA is like the one-stop shop that you are going to get things when it comes to financial accounting, when it comes to valuation, when it comes to about derivative, fixed income, equity market, alternative investment. It's just one stop. You want to talk about financial modeling. You want to talk about economics. You want to talk about quant, right? It's just that one stop shop where you will get a feel of those knowledge that you need to be excellent in the finance industry and finance space. So those are the memories for me when it comes to my level one. Although level one for me, I felt like, oh, I can read everything on my own, and I'm quite introverted. So level one, I read on my own, I passed the exam, I aced it. But level two, I was like, okay, I want to be intentional. I need to just go for a study group, a class. So I came to New Frontier. I met with the people, and you would have think that, or you have thought that writing level two is just like the way you wrote level one. When writing level two, then it's you've not really started the practice question. Then you begin to hear your tutor, the faculty already telling you that level two is item set, brace up to the way you answer question and what have you. Then you begin to prepare yourself to the way the question is. So for me, I think the material, the way the knowledge is structured for both level one and level two is is great. In addition to the people like that was mentioned earlier. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rafa, and I get that. I'd met somebody sometime as well. I was at a meeting somewhere where CEO for Citibank, both Nigeria and Sub-Saharan Africa, had said at that time, Mr. Akindawodu was saying that when a lot of people were writing exams, I think the banking exams and all kind of things, he just stayed back and felt, no, not this one, not this one. But then the moment he came in contact with the CFA, and in his words, he said, I saw how robust the curriculum was, right? And that was what he went all out for, right? And the rest is history for his career, um, for himself and his career today. You understand? I think that the CFA program is actually it's more multi-sided if you think about it. The power that it wields, right? The impact that it helps people, that it wields on people, the tremendous impact that it wields. There is the people you will meet, there is the who you will become, there is the learning process beyond just earning the charter and becoming a charter holder. There is the kind of person that you become, there is the kind of focus that you tend to express, right, when you write the CFA exam. So and those memories are powerful, right? To think about how robust those contents are, to think about how the people you're going to work with are, and all that kind of thing. I mean, you're going to meet you are going to when you are in a class or a group of people like that, you meet the people whether on faculty or people who are or whether faculty or fellow students like yourself, you will meet with people who you're going to be doing stuff together in the industry. I don't know if am I speaking your mind? You're going to, I mean, I won't be surprised if deals are being closed in classes or deal conversations are start in class. I know a lot. I know in terms of jobs, people are getting jobs just by relationships that they formed in class. Lifelong friendships, lifelong friend, tremendous impact, right, in that area. Is something that people have benefited from. So thank you very much for sharing your biggest memories in level one and two. Now to the big one. You are you're still a candidate, as it were. But then I want to ask you, what would you share? And this is where we're going to begin to spend a lot of time on our questions tonight, which is why we're here. What would you say are the optimal strategies, right, or tips for preparing, for passing rather, not preparing, for passing, because that's the goal. The CFA level one exams. The goal is not to prepare for the exams. The goal is to pass the exams, right? Every other thing can come after that, but the goal is you need to pass the exams, right? So let's talk about optimal strategy, because again, I always say, and you will attest to it because I've spoken to candidates and you've been there at several times, that people don't fail exams because they didn't read. I think people fail exams because they were not strategic about their reading, right? And their preparations. I think that people need to be more strategic. The same number of hours in a day that you have for someone who didn't pass the exam is the same number of hours somebody who had in a day had passed the exams. In fact, in many cases, the number of hours put in by people that have passed, it doesn't necessarily have to be that they are putting more hours, if you understand what I mean. It's just that you need to be strategic. Yes, the CFA, you must pay the hourly due. There are no two ways about it. You must put in those hours, those minimum hours, you must put them in. But then the reality is that when it comes to passing the exams, there are tips, there are strategies, there are things you must understand, right, about making it happen. So please, let's begin to talk about those optimal tips and strategies. And this is where we begin to spend a lot of time. Excuse me. Again, as not you focus on level one, and no referral focus on both level one and two. So again, I'll start with you first, Azinat. What would you say from your story are optimal strategies and tips? I want them to be as relatable as possible. Um, Maybe before then, why don't I even do something really interesting? Hi, Olawale, I believe you're on the call. Are you? Just a minute. Please confirm that you're on the call. So, because if I have a sense of my audience, it will be easy, to create um how do I put it now? It will be easy, to be able to respond to the questions correctly. Hi, Olawale, are you still on the call? Okay, so when Olawale is on the call, I'll be able to sort that out. But in the meantime, let's just go on. So, Azinat, let's go. Optimal strategies for passing the level one exams. What would you say there?
Okay, so firstly, you have to study. Obviously, the curriculum is there for a reason. The curriculum was given to us so we could like study, but then the curriculum is a lot. I mean, level one alone has 93 modules, so it is bulky and it is
How many
very
modules
easy
did
to
you call it?
forget. 93.
Okay, and I assume that
Yeah,
will remain into the next
yeah,
into next year, because I heard and I've checked that the nothing is changing in the curriculum in 2026. It's going to be absolutely the same. All right, thank you.
yeah, exactly. So it is a lot. I mean, personally, you need to first understand what strategy works for you, like your reading pattern, right? Are you the type that you want to finish economics before moving to derivative, or you want to shuffle everything together? But then because it is 93, there are some that you start with. Say, for example, you start with fixed income or derivative, and then there's like you have just 3 weeks to the exam, then you've forgotten the first one that you were, probably your fixed income or derivative, and then you just carry derivative again. You're like, did I actually even read this at all? So I guess this happened a lot. So my strategy was that 2 weeks to the exam, I had a book that summarized the entire curriculum. It is not like and probably just a summary of the entire curriculum. So 2 weeks to the exam, I can literally wake up in the morning and read through the entire curriculum in just an hour.
Sorry,
So that
Azinat.
makes it
Sorry, Azinat.
kind of, yeah.
Sorry. Yes, I can hear you. How did you get to this point of summary? How did you create that summary? Did you find the summary somewhere? Did you build it up yourself? You
So
have to, I'm sorry I'm stopping in your tracks, but I want something that my
right.
people can copy and paste, right? And the reason why I was looking for Lale was because I want to have a sense of number of people on this call. I have people on this call who have exams in November, for example. They must be able to get out of this room and have a winning strategy to pass this exam. You understand what I'm saying? So please help me go backtrack a bit, do the build up, right? I see you are going to the crescendo already. Yeah, I understand, but just help me, please. Yeah.
I'll start with I started reading when I started classes. I think classes started January, right? So I have
Yeah.
notes from the class. So I already have something from the class because you just from class, right? But then you have to stick
Yeah.
over to the curriculum to further understand the reading process. So for me, the main reason I actually intend on coming to class was because I love to hear it first. So say for example, we come to class today, we did the first module in economics. I already have a sense of what I'm going back to read, right? So now I've had my jotting from class. I go back home, read the first module and still have my jotting. So I have like a jotting note, but then the first module will definitely be a more detailed jotting note for you to understand the old concept framework, right? So for me, it was after class, you go back, scan through the curriculum, read, right? Then I have a more detailed note. But once it got to like 2 weeks to the exam, I mean 3 weeks to the exam, right? I was like, I started with fixed income. I can't really remember some of these concepts. So just done to me that I created another summary note from the initial note that I had. And again, Influencers gave us this. We have a Google Drive of a lot of questions, a lot of summary notes. So those things, I have to like go through all this material to have like a summary note. I mean, for the entire economics, I could just have a 5 pages note. Not it doesn't have to be detailed. From the whole class, and when you are reading, you already know some important things. They are not going to miss, right? So you have that out, right? So I have like in some maybe like 25 pages of key points for the entire modules. So I can wake up in the morning. The first thing I'm doing is to like read through the entire curriculum at a glance. So I have a more detail. So that way I don't have anything I'm forgetting or something that I feel I've not touched at all. So the ultimate goal for me was the fact that I could revise the entire curriculum 2 weeks to the exam. And most importantly, questions are extremely important. And I mean, New Frontier gave us, we had like 6 different mocks from New Frontier alone. The other materials are available. Also, CFA curriculum, end of chapter question, you have a lot of resources there. So for me, so I solved a lot of questions because after reading, you can read an entire module. I feel like I know it already. And then you open question, like, what is going on? So you need to understand CFA questions as well. So those questions would help you determine if you actually understood what you read or you just glanced through, right? So very important. Solve a lot of questions as much as you can. But for me to still be the summary notes, right? That summary note was very key. I even took it to the exam that was because I just wanted to ensure that I'm not missing out on anything. I mean, it is
Yeah.
better to be over prepared than
Mm-hmm.
you are doing the exam one. Though I'm not going to lie, there's some models that you just feel like this one is not ancient. I'm like, only this one will not kill me. You can just, but then I know at the back of my head that there is this model. I know what is there. It's just not speaking, and I'm not killing myself. You know when you get to that point, like, do this thing. Well, no, but then it is not that you get to the exam more and you're completely lost that where is this one
Yeah,
coming from? So that summary
exactly.
is already give you a concept, okay, this is everything that I have to, and you don't have to, it must not be too long because you might not have the time to like start going through it. Like it just
Yeah,
has to be like very summary. So my own strategy was that summary, because it helped me know that okay, this is CFA at a glance,
yeah,
right? And I know the numbers of modules of each. I know the topics. I know the content. There's some that might not really sticking, but then you might not need to kill yourself. But then you have understanding of everything, and everything still looks fresh in your brain. Because by now, this is you have like less than 3 weeks. Though you might still be checking on most of this module, right? But then by the end, when exam is getting closer, I think it's very important to have that summary notes that would help you to like that would give more context to what you've been reading and you're able to like see everything as a glance. I don't know if that helpful, but if I get more questions, maybe I will put more clarity to it.
yeah. I mean, thank you, Asina. Again, the way it works is the moment all of us starts talking, it will crystallize certain things in your mind. So you will still get more opportunity to talk about it. And I think this one you shared tonight is unique to you. You are the first person on any of our sessions who has ever talked about a summary note. And I know the power of that thing. I connect as an individual to I know what you're talking about. There is a some do you know what it means to crystallize the entire curriculum in 2 pages? That is weird. So I understand it because um, as a public speaker, my notes are usually micro notes, very micro notes. So, but the moment I see, that's why when you use the tool we use for presentation, at least basically, is called PowerPoint. What that means is essentially you are not expected to fill it up with details. You just need to create points, 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 sometimes 5 points, and you can be speaking for 4 hours, right? Because you understand what's on each line. And I hear you talked about understanding the content, knowing, I mean, you went as detailed as knowing the number of modules. I believe that might be strange to somebody, but then that's the way to pass exams. That's the way to pass exams. Because again, how do you know? you're writing exams in February. You don't know how many modules. How do you know how to spread your time across that? You don't know what you're up against. It's important. These are fine details that I hope people are picking up tonight. Thank you very much, Azina. That's why I've insisted on this. Okay, so if you are, I don't know, just to give a bit of context, I don't know if you can see the polls on your screen right now. I can see some polls. Can anybody see these polls? Can you see polls on your screen right now? Popped up on your screen right now. Anybody?
No,
Or is it
no,
just me?
can't.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Okay,
I
so
can. Has
you
gone.
can.
Yes,
Okay,
but
you
it has
can,
gone.
but it has gone. Okay, I can see. I
Yeah,
can still see it. Okay, Olale, so you need to take the polls and share it again. So let's just take it quickly, just to have an idea of people in this room. I want to know when you're writing your exams, when if you're November, exactly, people are already taking. Thank you guys. There's very great engagement already. Whether you're in the New Frontiers program right now, or you're new here, it's important to just know. So just so that we can speak to your specific needs, I need to share this, see it and share the results with people. Excellent. Okay, so we've had about half of us have already taken the poll, while Oriofe is getting ready for his own speech right now. Okay, good. So we're 35 people, 36. Let's go. We're about 58 on this call. We can do it to 50, and that'll be good. Thank you guys. Well done. It helps us just speak correctly to your needs. It helps us speak correctly to your need. It's important that we have this data. All right, all right, all right. Prof Oriofe is ready. I know tonight is tonight. Everybody will pass level one, level two. As soon as I hope you came with your notes too for level two. Eh? For level two insights from
definitely.
Oriofe.
I'm here.
Uh, exactly. So I brought in, let me just speak alone, make sure you get everything. Because I'll bring you back for level two, I'm sure. I know you'll pass now. So all right. So yeah. Okay, good. I think we have a sizable number. There are about 40 people who have spoken. Let's not waste time. So okay. So it's halfway, guys. So there are about half the number of people are in the survey program, half are entirely new. I'm just taking the polls. We have a lot of people taking exams in November, 33%. We have about 28% taking in May, followed by February, 21%, then August and November, 99%. So I think we have a fair number. I don't know if to keep the poll open. Let's keep the poll open, allow people to do this, then I'll share the results so that you guys can see and you can answer your questions more specifically to them. But let's continue. Let's continue. Thank you guys. Keep voting on the polls if you haven't. We have about 45 people. I can take more people, about 13 more and get to 50 something or 50 and I'll end the poll. Okay, guys. So Oriofe, thank you. Thank you very much, Azina. That was insightful. And please take notes, whatever comes to your mind, take notes again. We'll take them, we'll come back to them. So Oriofe, let's go. Level 1 and 2. How to pass this
Okay.
exam.
Yeah. So for me, right, just to say this in passing, because I resonate with what Azana said.
Hmm.
Although for me, I would also say that they are, as you go along your journey, you might have different strategy for different level, right?
Hmm.
And I
Oh
assure
yeah.
you, you will not be able to use one strategy for all the three levels.
Hmm.
You understand yourself better, and then you do different things. So I was just trying to stumble around my study notes. This is my notes. I have like a leaflet, you know.
Oh,
I have for that I use to jot my jotting, so I can I can carry it everywhere I go, right? And also I just use that to do my jottings, right? So although for me, I study better when I'm very focused, right? And I jot a
yeah.
lot, like regardless of whether it's entering my brain or it's not entering, I jot. Like I take my time to do jottings, right? So I think it's my recent exam that I had to That's the first time I read the curriculum, like not read the curriculum, I used my resources like twice, right? So for my level one, I stick to the curriculum. Me, I'm more of the curriculum person. By that, I mean that I don't necessarily use a lot of other resources,
Mm-hmm.
like this in terms of study notes, right? Or I use
Mm-hmm.
some video resources, right? I am visual, right, in my learning. So I watch video resources, right? But I'm focused on the curriculum. The curriculum is exhaustive enough for you to pass the CFA exam.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and I would like to tell people don't fall into the trap that you need to read a like 100 resources before you can pass. Looking at other sources is fine, right? I'm not discouraging that, but you don't need to read. Some people they want to read the Schweizers of this world, they want to read the U Word, IFT, read curriculum, add a lot of things. No, but if you read the curriculum, and CFA has consistently say this, right? If you read the curriculum, you are sure that you're going to pass the exam.
Mm-hmm.
That's a given, right? And I also want to say this. There are 10 courses, right? Regardless of wherever your background or whatever your background is, you will always find a space in the sense that you will always find what you like what you feel that is your strength, right? So
Excellent.
play to that your strength, right? Regardless. So for me, and I would say based on my work experience and also my accounting background and finance background, I was very fine with FSA, that's financial statement analysis. I was okay with equity investment and also corporate issuer. It was like a given for me because that's the space where I was coming from, right? So I played to that my strength. Um, Not sacrificing it on the altar of being overconfident, right? I read them, but not as much as I'm going to read the derivative of this word, the fixed income of this word. Economics, I don't
Mm-hmm.
really like it, but I have to read it. Quantitative methods, I have to play to that and read it um, in-depthly. And portfolio management that I'm just trained to, right? I know the workings, right? I've done some courses that relate to that, but you know, CFA is opening up a different world to you, and then there's going to definitely be your strength, but you have to dig in. And recently we were at the CFA dinner with chapter order, sharing their story, and everybody allude to the fact that if you don't put in the hours, you will not pass the exam. It's just a fact. It's not me being the devil advocate here. It If you did not put in the hours, it's going to show, right?
Yeah.
So right, study the exam. Uh, Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
I can hear.
study
Yeah.
study for the exam. Know what works best for you. Are you a visual person? Me, I watch videos. I know some people that they study the material like from start to finish. So I put in the hours. So for me, I know as I not mentioned that there are some people. Me, I am systematic in the sense that I read chronologically. The way from one module to another. I don't like to jump. Oh, you read derivative today. So for me, I'm not that kind of person, right? So just discover the kind of person you are. Don't try to. You will
Yeah.
see some people. Oh, I read derivative today. I read that tomorrow. No, but me, chronologically, I follow the flow, right? I follow the flow. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I do majorly for my level one, level two, and the recent one that I just wrote. I just follow that flow. Is until when I finish. And again, answer do a lot of questions, right? As I not mentioned that earlier, that if you will think you know it, right? You even think some courses that I told you earlier that is my strength. When you solve question, it just throws you off balance. And
Mm-hmm.
the in thing here is that there is when you practice question, you will be making silly mistakes, right? By silly I mean you'll be setting the question in your own mind, in the sense that you assume that this is the way the question should come out. So it's when you do a lot of practice question, and not just doing the practice question alone, read the solution, right? Some people, and for me, when I say read the solution, there are some answers that you get correctly, but the process you use to get that answer is the wrong process, right? So when they put a little bit of tweak to it, you are going to miss it. So read the solution so that you understand the process behind it, so that you know how best is to answer that question. So practice question, read, that's a given. Once when you read, practice do a lot of practice questions. In the learning ecosystem, there are over 1,000 practice questions. So practice questions and then read the solution so that you know it very well. Do mocks also, right? To be sincere, the CFA exam is rigorous, but it's not as hard as you think. Yeah, to be sincere, it's rigorous, but it's not as hard as you think if you put in the hours. So that's just my 2 cents that I'm going to give for now. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And that's tremendous value. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to end this poll. Yeah, let me share this results with you. So I believe we can see the results now. Right. Just about Alpha in our program and about Alpha news. So just that when we're speaking to that. Then there are a lot of people who have exams in the next 2 months, November, right? Then February next year, then May next year, then followed by February next year, then August and November, guys, of course. So we have November, May, and February. So the bulk is happening in November, February, and May, right? A number of people to about 20% in August and November. That's quite sizable as well. But but the largest portion right now is happening between now and the next, let's say 7-8 months, right? May next year. So about 3 exam windows next, then followed by the other great guys who have about 20%. Okay, so I'm sure this helps. Thank you very much, guys, for taking part in the polls. So let's continue tonight. So this is what we're going to do tonight. I want us to just to confirm that you heard the things that Oreo Fair and Azina had shared, right? And you've picked some of these things. Let's just drop in the chat, in the chat area, right? What these points are, what these issues are. We'll soon get to the point where we take your questions. But I'm glad that we are getting straight into it. So I need to be sure that you're following in. If you're following, if you're on this call. So let's just quickly talk about some of those things. And then Azinat, if you have any other thing, we'll take them now before I take the next forgive me, the next question. Correct? Just a minute. Okay, I'm trying to power my. Okay. So let's go. Let's go. So I had quite a number of things myself, and I think they're beautiful. Beautiful. The use of key summary notes. Right. So guys, let's type them out. I won't be able to continue. I don't see them. I need to be sure that you're following. Right. I still have a few more questions. Yeah, Latitude solve a lot of questions, and that's one thing New Frontiers provide. We provide tons and tons of questions because you must be the way you know you have passed is you look at the question and you're like, I've seen this kind of thing before. It's just the parameters that have changed, right? Essentially. And that comes from solving tons and tons. We make people solve questions every day at New Frontiers. We have a system where you run a daily quiz. You take questions every day because we know it works. Yeah. Yeah, it's not as hard as you think, Oreo Fair 2025. Oreo Fair son. I'm sure the institute is seeing this. You are the one who said it too. That it's not as hard as you think. But I agree with you. It's not as hard as you think. If you put in the hours, it's not as hard as you think, to be very honest. Evolve study methods unique to you, right? You must find the study. You can't be testing right now. You can't be testing right now. There must have been something that worked in your undergraduate days or your postgraduate days at the minimum, because again, that's the minimum requirement, to be in an undergraduate program, right? So there must have been something that worked in terms of whether you're an auditory learner or a visual learner or you're a structured learner like Oriofe. If it doesn't finish QM, it's not going to economics. If it doesn't finish economics, it's not touching FSA. There's no way derivatives will even see him if he has not read ethics. That's him, right? And he follows through on that. Then Joseph says the curriculum is key. Pick the strategy that works for you. Yeah, practice. Thank you, Kelechi. Kelechi says practice, practice, practice. You can't even overemphasize the role of practice. If there's anything that will get our candidates to do at New Frontiers is to make them practice, practice, practice. You start seeing those questions in your dreams, right? You must practice and practice and practice. Okay, Azinat, do you have any other one coming up right now? Well, I'm still taking
Yes.
a response.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I think I also like the fact, let's talk about something you said very often. You spoke about your strengths because again, this session tonight is pretty biased to in terms of your backgrounds. But again, at New Frontiers, we have someone, for example, on our faculty who is a medical doctor. It can't be too far apart from that. It can't get too wide apart now. When a medical doctor is not a CFA charter holder, not just as he passed the exam, not just as a charter holder, is now teaching on our program. I mean, it can't be it can't get wider than that. You get what I'm saying? Um, there are people straight from law school, lawyers who are now not just charter holders, but they now teach on our faculty because we understand that, and they are teaching you. I mean, even with your finance background, right? And you understand clearly when they're speaking to you. But then there was something you said about there will be one topic area that you will love, that you will connect to. Start from there, pick it up, invest in that, right? I think that is really powerful tonight. And I think we should spend some time talking about that. You see, because if you are coming into a new space, again, I mean, it's just the rule of relating with somebody new or with something new. One of the things that make things work very well, that one of the strong dynamics that oils the engine of relationship is finding a common ground. The moment you can find a common ground with another human being, you can at least start a relationship. You might not be able to. There will be other dynamics at play in whether it will succeed or it will be completed or not. But essentially, it's always the starting point. And I think it's the same with learning, finding a common ground. You will not be entirely blank, irrespective of where you're coming from. Your years as a lawyer, your years as a doctor, your years in microbiology, your years in arts and humanities will not be a waste. There must be somewhere, some place where you can connect with whatever it is that is happening, right? So what do you think? Let's talk about that for a moment.
Yeah. So okay, for me, I think I made that statement and it's very valid. Like you mentioned, I have a friend who is also in the faculty, right, and a colleague in law school, right. He's a lawyer, right, and currently is a portfolio manager, right, with one of the top asset management firm in Nigeria. So, um, just if the interest is there, that's another thing that I need to add to it. You know, if the interest is there, you will always be able to navigate through some concepts because although uh, I would I would not shy away from the fact that you need to put in like the extra, you need to go the extra mile, right?
Yeah.
So for somebody that say, and for somebody that you don't have that strong background, you're not going to be competing with somebody that say, within 3 months you will do level one. You know, you see a lot of posts like that on LinkedIn. I scored, I got 90 percentile. I think there's no more 90th percentile, right? Again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I scored 90 percentile for 45 days of doing it. Okay, that's those set of people. But
I mean,
it's good that you
and it's
down.
good that you're mentioning it,
Yeah,
sorry for cutting you. It's good that you're
no,
mentioning
it's
it
fine.
because these perspectives are there, they are outliers. When you're using data, right? They are outliers. Is one in a
Hmm.
thousand. We are talking about an
Yeah.
exam whose average pass rate is always less than 40%. I mean, if what do you know what 40% is? If 10 people write the exam, only four
Oh,
or less than four are guaranteed to pass. You can't play that kind of you can't do that to yourself. It's dangerous. I mean, we're talking about an exam that people that come in at level one that end up at charter holders are less than 10%. You cannot or thereabouts, you can't do that to yourself and say so you saw somebody saying it, you don't have the story that precedes it, then you would shoot yourself in the leg. This is not that type of exam. Most people have to put in the hours, and those hours culminate in months. I know people who have
yeah.
attended classes in January, didn't take their exams till November just because they needed to pass. It's not, and there are people that have rushed in and they have rushed out. Is what it is, right? So, yeah, I just thought to mention that. You can go ahead, please. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's really valid because, like I said, the CFA exam is very, very rigorous, very, very rigorous. So um, you plan yourself and structure yourself. So take for instance, for me,
Yeah,
please know that I want to write the CFA exam right from finishing my undergraduate. You know, so aside financial issues that did not make me write it on time, I've started planning to write level one C from when I finished my NYSC in 2020, and I eventually wrote it
wow.
in November 2023. I was part of
Mm,
the lucky set to do the investment CFA Investment Foundation when it was free. I recently learned that
yeah.
now you need to pay for it. You know,
Oh, you have to
so
pay for it
so
now. Yes,
yeah, you have to pay for it
you
now.
have to.
So
Yeah.
I wrote that I did that exam I think 2021, right? But I've already started preparing myself. I got the resources like 9 months or thereabouts. I started putting in
Mhm.
the work, despite the fact I have a finance background, right? And I started putting in the work, right,
Exactly.
to write the exam in
Early enough.
February 2000, yeah, 2023. So, and again, it's even an added layer for somebody that is working, right? And
Hmm.
not just working, you are working in a fast-paced environment in the sense that
Hmm.
uh, you don't really close by 5 because you still have some other things to catch up with, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then, so that added layer of there's work commitment, there are some other commitment that comes in. So for somebody that,
Yeah.
back to the questions, for somebody that does not have a finance background, you're coming from humanities, like I said, you always find a course that will interest you. That's where community comes in. Of a truth, I would not joke about that. There is no way you say you are learned that getting to come to new frontiers, you are meeting with faculty, they give you their experience to things, right? Things how to understand the concept. And when you're able to understand that concept, you are good to go.
Yeah.
Another instance is that your peers, right? When it comes to CFA, everybody we are writing the exam together.
Hmm.
And I think I'll talk about that maybe down the line where the networking aspect comes in that I actually talked about earlier on. So there is also a way that we reason to assimilate some knowledge. Take for
Yeah.
instance, um, I don't know how best to understand the concept, and a friend or a colleague has already grasped the knowledge. We shared in that learning, so um, it aids your understanding of that concept. You get tips, you get notes or resources that somebody will refer you to. Okay, go and watch this YouTube video. It helped me. So you're able to understand those concepts better and faster. Because if you know, again, I mentioned you should stick to the curriculum. There are some times that the curriculum can be very, very overwhelming, in the sense that you are reading a concept 2-3 times and it's not even entering. Right? It's not you are not getting to you are not getting an headway. Right? So that's where
Yeah.
a friend will just recommend something to you, and in 5 minutes you already get the concept that you are struggling with. So the power of community also help for some people, or even generally people that they don't have that background, to write them those that background of finance. Even somebody like me, there are concepts that still I'm seeing for the first time, really, because I'm not in that space, like a portfolio manager. I'm not in that space. So is not skilled towards there are people that they are coming from the finance background also that are failing the exam, and there are people
Absolutely.
that have the non-finance background that they are acing the exam, like my friend I mentioned, he had 98th percentile, like all through. So that's the power of preparation, power of consistency, regardless of your background. You know getting 98th percentile, level
Thank
one,
you.
level two, and passing the exam once without having to write it twice, even coming from a law
Yeah.
background. So I think preparation
That's
consistency
powerful.
is key here too.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So finding that one is important. I mean, another thing I hear from what you've said, in fact, and I've never thought about it. You see, we need to be careful as well in terms of things that a lot of information. So about what people say about passing the exams on social media, because information is right, but you need to pick what you're going to choose. See, even if you're going to go and watch videos, right? Even if you know where those videos are and all that, the reality is that if you go to the internet, you're going to find tons and tons and tons of materials. And that itself can even be more deadly than not having sufficient resources in itself. Because if you have just one resource to follow, you will struggle through and pull through. But now you have very limited time for your exams, and then you are getting overwhelmed. The exam itself is overwhelming. Now you are getting overwhelmed with additional sets of resources. Things like this can help you head in the right direction and know where to go, to pick stuff, and that community can just help you. I think that I remember you talked strongly. Are you still there? I remember you were speaking strongly about your biggest memory in level one, and it was how community helped. Maybe you should speak to that, because I think that's something that helps, right? Because again, you have all this strategy, there must be people, right, able to drive in the right direction or point in the right direction when you're struggling or something. So let's go. Let me hear that.
Okay, so aside having people in asking frontiers, I mean, I think there's this thing that Frontier does as well. They assign us with mentors. We have mentors, and these mentors are our tutors as well. So these are people who can actually like reach out to ask questions and all of that. But for the study group and having the community around, I think I wrote this year May. Yeah, I wrote my level one May this year, right? And then before class end, I think that was around March, we created a study group where there was a timetable for how we are going to be answering questions. So we created a timetable that, okay, you must have read this module before 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. we're all
Yeah.
coming together to solve questions, to ask questions. You might have read it and think you understood it, and maybe you just speak your answer. Like Oriope said, when you answer a particular question and you get the answer, don't think you actually get the answer. You have to read that solution answer, because if I just sometimes we guess and this thing of this thing where you that pick B.
When in doubt, shade B.
That's
That's on you. I don't know about it.
on you. But yeah, that sometimes that you think that's the answer. But when you go back to, that your thought process of picking the answer was not actually how to, you're just being lucky to be correct, right? So
Yeah.
But during that study session, you get to like hear what how other people think about the answer. And one thing that I understood about level one is that you need to understand those concepts. It's not about cramming definitions. You cannot cram CFA and pass. And
Yeah.
I also agree with your referee on how important the curriculum is. Most of those questions, if you go and read your curriculum very well, you will see that line, that answer to that particular question. It is always there. So I agree with the curriculum is sufficient, but then it is bulky. You might not be able to finish, but then this curriculum is 100% sufficient. Most times, if you look at the end of chapter questions and you actually go back to check those questions, you will see that line that in the curriculum that actually points to the answers to that questions. And all the questions obviously comes from the curriculum. So why I feel like the community was the biggest performance because during those sessions, you get to see how your course and your other colleague think about those questions, and then if you then a week to exam and so when we stop the session, you still have your friends to talk to. Oh, I'm tired today, but you're like, don't be tired. There's motivation. There's all of that. So I don't think this is an exam anyone should really do by themselves. But if you think studying alone works for you, that's fine. But then for me, the community was like a bigger part, having friends around that we are doing the same thing together. It just helps to like help you push harder. So yeah, I think that's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Azina. So there you go. There you have it. I have just two more questions for you tonight. I'll take one now, and I'll make a short presentation because we have a lot of people on this call who need to understand a few things about exams, particularly next year, for 2026. But then I'll take this question, then we'll go. Then we'll do that. Then I'll come back to take your final question, which I can't reveal now, which I think is perhaps the most powerful question tonight. And then we'll then take question and answers. I know our audience has a lot of questions. So the moment I'm done with that presentation, we dive into their questions. Then I take one more thing from you, the speakers, then we'll be ready to go tonight. But then I believe value has been added tonight already. You can give a show of just share a reaction about how you're feeling about the session tonight, or just drop something in the chat. Thank you, Latitude. I saw that. And Grace, thank you very much as well. So value's been added already. So let's get into this. I want to ask you a question now. Thank you, Winifred. So I want to ask you, would you say there is any value in attending classes, right, to prepare for the CFA exams? Would you say there's any value to attending classes? I know you've mentioned a few things, but let's get more specific tonight. And there's a whole lot being said right now, but you don't want to gamble, right? But then let's see. Would you say there's any value in attending classes? And if yes, just share with us briefly. Let's even find out what it is. Let's go. So any of you can go first. It's fine.
Okay, let me just go first. So for me, like I mentioned, I got the CFA scholarship last year, May, and then I had the opportunity to write from that May to August this year. So I was like, oh, I'm going to study by myself. But I was never sure because I was in school. I wanted to finish school because I had a lot of time, right? So by December, I started trying to like read, looking at the curriculum. It was overwhelming, I'm not going to lie. I saw fixed income as one of the hardest course derivatives. I'm like, what am I doing here? Are you sure I really want to? When I look at curriculum, you are reconsidering your career path, right? Then I decided to like just go for classes. And I think the first class we had on fixed income, Abiodun took that class, and fixed income just became my best. Like I was already thinking about how am I going to do this physical, but just from the first class, I would say fixed income was my favorite. Then derivatives, like
Excellent.
these are the courses that they will tell you that they are difficult, they are hard. I mean, fixed income has 19 modules, and it's like the buckets in level one. Do you get? So, but then just one class, and my entire orientation just changed because I had someone to give me the basic understanding of fixed income, made it so enjoyable, made it so I felt that was like the biggest value add for me. And derivative too. First class, I was already in love with derivative. And those two courses that I felt like the others became like my favorite, right? So the value add to me of attending classes was the fact that I got people to explain things to me at a very basic level, right? And then going back to read my book, it's just something that felt like heaven and earth became so easy, and I found it so easy to like read. So I think the value add for me was at least hearing people explain this concept to you, then making it easier for you to like go back to read. Like it is very easy, especially that periodic class, you'll be hearing the concepts in your brain as you are reading, like, hey, this is what was said in class. Then you get to like it just makes
Absolutely.
your reading really easy. I mean, I have friends that I read personally, right? But then you can't compare the fact that I am come to read this module. I've been taught in class. I know it. I can go through this module in let's say 2 hours. But if you are reading this for the first time on your own, I'm sure you take longer time. You have to use ChatGPT to understand some concept. And I think I read first module of quant alone. I struggled with the particular set. And in class, the lecturer just said just one line, and everything just made sense. Like I have been struggling with this thing, right? So the value add for me was like it's made my reading easier, and things that I felt like I was unable to comprehend, it just became the best part of myself. And then if I had the best tutors, and it just, I don't know, for me, it just, the value add was the fact that the classes made my life way, way easier. The reading was easier because I've been taught in class, right? So going back to read, and like I said, it's not as if after the whole class I did not read and then I expect to pass. That one does not work. In fact, after the class, you still have to like go back, read, and ensure that you understood what was taught in class. But what the class does for you is that it makes your reading faster, easier, and those concepts that you just need just a line. I mean, that day it was just so funny. I've been struggling with that particular module, and then you just one word that just made everything make sense, right? So I think that's like the value add for me for classes, right? And I think that's
Thank you,
the
Azina.
important thing. Yeah.
In one breath, you have mentioned arguably the four difficult courses in level one, or the four most difficult courses. Yeah, I think that's how to put it. In level one would be fixed income, derivatives, quantitative methods, and economics. Those four. They are the global polls. This is what people struggle with the most, the four of them. And in one breath, you've spoken about three out of four just by coming to classes, right? You spoke about fixed income, so about quantitative methods, and I spoke about derivatives, right? And in the first class, first lecture, I mean, like I always tell people, the exams are already difficult. There's no reason to complicate the process further. Sometimes I think about the fees that a candidate will pay to join class as an insurance. Why would you lose about $2,000 for writing an exam? Because you are trying to save $300, or I mean, is class even up to $300? I don't even know, maybe about 300 or something dollars right now for classes. You get what I'm saying? So it's really what you pay for insurance and to preserve, to ensure that you pass the exams. And there's nothing, you will get value, you will understand it. Thank you very much. I needed to hear that part. Thank you very much. Oyofe, what would you say there's value in coming to classes? And then if yes, what would you say these values are?
Okay, yeah. So I'll talk from the perspective of, I mentioned that my level one, I wrote it. I believe, I can write the exam level one. I can write it by myself. I can read, study, and what have you. And level two, I felt I need to go for class. And again, when I'm talking about attending class, it does not take away the fact, which I know I will always tell you, coming to class does not necessarily take the effort that you need to read personally, right? So, specifically talking about the value out of attending class, and for me, how it enhances you in passing the exam, one. Two, how it also boosts your own career and coming to a top center like New Frontiers. Right? As another, I've said a lot when it comes to the value add. So again, I would say for me, because I don't really have much time. I don't read before I go to class. You know, really, I don't read the concept before I go to class. And for some other of my colleagues in together, some people, because maybe the nature of their work and they are able to extract a lot of discipline aside, I also have some other commitments. Some people would have read before they come to class. So there's a way, in addition to the question they are going to ask, sometimes maybe we stated that we want to use 4 hours for a lecture, which is typical. But the mix of the class, maybe somebody doing portfolio management, that is bread and butter. Let me use that word loosely. That's what you do, right? The way they will bring the perspective into the course. You that maybe me, I'm a financial advisor. I'm an investment banking guy. Okay, there's that flavor. Adding that perspective to the discourse. So you are seeing this concept not only from the textbook part of it, which is the not so good disadvantage when you are reading personally. You tend to bring yourself into what is this thing trying to say, because you are not in that space, right? But in the class, you have somebody that is a portfolio manager, fixed income trader, somebody that's what he does, and you have a faculty that is teaching you that is what he's doing, So there is a blend to that discourse in class. Okay, they are not bringing life to what maybe you've read before, or when you are reading it later on, as I mentioned, and I know Abiodun will always tell you, he wants to teach you to the point that when you are reading that concept, you are able to bring back to life that whatever he told you in class, different scenarios, different example that he gives to you, so it brings those topics to life. And Michael is going to teach you derivatives for those people doing level 2. That's what he's in that space, that fixed income space, and he's going to teach you. So when you are reading, you are playing back those things you've been taught in class. So you are not just reading as though you are seeing that for the first time, because you have been taught in class. And again, for me, this is just my own personal. So I just follow the flow of the class. I told you, for me, I most times don't read to the class. So I just follow the flow of the class. I might not be up to speed when they are the discourse, because some concepts I'm just hearing it for the first time. But when I'm reading back, it just usually comes, and then I'm able to flow. That's the value aside the relationship that I've cultivated in the class. It's a huge value add, because your career is not going to be living in silo, right? There are a lot of things that a lot of side gigs, a lot of deals with closing class and what have you. That's a huge value add for me. And again, for me, I told somebody, you can pass the exam on your own, but I mean, you don't want to finish, not to create a kind of bad luck or what have you. There are people that are chartered and they are not bringing out the best, but the community you get in New Frontiers, it enhances your career aside the value add you get when you read, reliving what was taught in class. And again, there is recording up to a year that you have access to, that you can go and play again.
Yeah.
And again, for me, so not any reason, I don't like to miss class. Even if I'm not following the flow of the class, no matter who the lecturer is, I don't like to miss class. Not for anything. So that I don't miss the experience when I was reading. I think my recent exam, I missed one class, and it showed. It showed because I was reading the concept, and it's not entering, And so for me, attend classes. That's just a side one. There's a lot of value add, so that when you are reading in real life, it comes back to your memory when you are reading.
Thank you very much, Oyofe. Thank you. I mean, that's really that's powerful. I mean, two things we talked about. One, you just spoke now about how somebody can be a charter holder and is not making the most of it. It's like using a bazooka, a bazooka gun to kill a fly, right? That gun can do a lot more, right? Because again, you are carrying, yes, you've read to pass the exams, but then you have never been involved in robust conversations. You have not, you are missing out on the value that other people can add, to the work that you're doing. I'm talking about you've had classes on the classes you have on weekend, on Saturday and on Sunday can impact directly on what happens at work on Monday morning. That's how robust these things can be. It's not apart from the fact that it brings the topics to life, which is one thing Oriofe also stressed. You can then take these things and get to work and put them to work, and you get results. Right? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Oriofe, for that. I think at this point, I'll give you about 10 minutes to grab coffee or water. That's Azinat and Oriofe. Then I'll take a presentation on entitled CFA and you, especially for the 2026 guys and for for the rest of the month, of the year as well. Then we'll come back, take question and answer from the audience, then ask you one last question, then we'll be ready to call it an evening. But thus far, I think tremendous value has been added. So I'm just going to share my screen. I need you guys to confirm that you can see um, my screen right now. Can you? Can you see my screen right now, everybody? Please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yes,
Excellent. Thank you very much. So let's go. So welcome once again tonight. We're still on the interview, and we've talked about cracking the level 1 and 2 exams. Okay, I want to just give a presentation on the CFA exams for 2025 and 2026 by extension. And I'll take question and answers and we'll call it an evening. Right. I'd like to begin with this review from Abiodun Agbola, who is group head, derivatives market, FMDQ Securities Exchange Limited. He says, I had a background in microbiology. Asinat was talking about this guy who is a member of our faculty right now. So not only did he begin with microbiology, he's group head derivatives market at FMDQ, and is now one of our top faculties when it comes to the subject of fixed income. I mean, both Oriofe and Azinat will have experience in at level 1 and 2 at some point. They bring the topic to life. And this is someone, I mean, that is to show you how well he had been taught and schooled in this thing at New Frontiers, to the point where you can now teach others and break it down, such that your background doesn't even mean anything in terms of getting people to pass exams. So he says, excuse me, had a background in microbiology, and crossing to finance was a lot. New Frontiers Learning gave me that community and helped to really understand the CFA curriculum and make the switch that is required from microbiology to finance, right? That's what I said. Oluwapelumi Fadola, CFA, also says, I received my CFA charter today. Congratulations. Having passed the 3 levels of the exams at first attempt and met the requirements of the institute, it was quite a journey, and I'm really grateful for this milestone. Many thanks to the tutors at New Frontiers Learning Center for the knowledge shared. These are publicly available reviews. You can verify them on Google and on LinkedIn, right? They are available for you to verify. And of course, you can reach out to these people directly, and if you want, just to verify that these things are not doctored, but they're true. The CFA exam, the CFA designation, CFA Chartered Financial Analyst, but again, it's referred to as the CFA designation, is the most respected and recognized financial markets and investment credential in the world. If you are going to work in the finance and investment space, then the CFA designation is the gold standard, right? It's administered out of the US, with over 200 charter holders growing, and the number in Nigeria is currently growing. It's growing significantly. It's growing significantly every year. You are required to pass 3 levels of exams and 36 months of qualifying experience. It's better now. It used to be 48 months, 4 years. Now it's 3 years of qualifying work experience, alongside passing the 3 levels of the exam, pledging to a code of ethics and standard of conduct That will earn you your charter. The exam is divided into 3 levels and is tested in a 5-hour exam, right? Here are the topic areas from ethics to financial statement analysis, portfolio management and wealth planning, equity, fixed income, corporate issuers, derivatives, economics, and alternative investments, right? The exam formats are different from level to level. In level one, entirely multiple choice questions, because again, it's the concepts that are being tested. But it doesn't talk about, it doesn't exactly say that it's easy, but it says it's multiple choice questions. But level two, multiple choice questions, but they are but those questions are going to come from what we call vignettes. Vignettes are like short episodes, right? So vignettes supported multiple choice questions. But in level three, you will have 2 exams. One will be multiple choice questions, still supported by vignettes, and the other one will be like constructed responses, which is what you popularly know as essays. So vignettes will show up at level 2, completely multiple choice for those episodes on the vignettes. In level 3, you will still have your vignettes, but only one will be multiple choice. The other one will be what you call essay, constructed response questions. And level 1, the exam happens 4 times a year. Acronym FMAN, February, May, August, and November. FMAN. Level 2 is MAN, May, August, and November. And level 3 is FA, the music notes FA, February and August. Right? It's for the exam in level 3. Now, New Frontiers. What's the story? Our story is one that is born out of a compelling desire to help ease the journey of every CFA exam candidate in Nigeria. The truth of the matter is that our founders, right, went through this journey with little or no support of any kind. However, they have vowed to turn into reality the dream of every CFA candidate in helping them earn the prestigious CFA charter, irrespective of their backgrounds. And today, after over a decade, about 15 years actually, we've been pursuing this vision, and our market has experienced significant leaps through the influx of, it's actually about 4,000 professionals right now. We are heading, by next year, we'll hit 5,000. We're 4,000 right now, professionals from New Frontiers Learning, right? And they are now revolutionaries in various markets of the world. I mean, there is hardly any nation of this world where Nigerians have migrated into and charter holders are there. It might not be difficult to find one person who knows New Frontiers, right, from all these various markets in the world. We're saying you join the revolutionaries, join thousands of candidates and professionals to grow your career. This has been done for 15 years. We have a model that works. We've done it for 15 years. We can tell you what to do to pass your exams. I was saying one of the things that makes life or the outcome of life, maybe exam or anything you do in life, um, tough for people is the unpredictable nature of these things. But then you know very well that if you can play around with the factors, classes, exams, tests, whatever it is that can be done, what are the variables that can help determine a certain kind of outcome that you want? New Frontiers knows that those variables, they've been able to put it in an equation, apply it the way you've been asked to apply it, and you would get the results that you should get, right? You should get. Here are our founders. You might know them. You might have met them or read about them. Ayokunle Ojo CFA, Michael Anyima CFA, Banji Fenitola CFA, and Olani Ogunbayo CFA. Right? Why New Frontiers? One of our biggest joy, right? One of our biggest set of resources is at the world-class faculty of leading investment professionals. You won't find those kind of people anywhere else, right? They are committed, they are highly experienced, they are world-class, right? They combine their work with practice. They combine practice with theory, right? And they're able to bring the topics to life. The exams are already difficult. Do not complicate the process. There is no need to fail the exam, like I always tell our candidates, right? For example, at New Frontiers, in a topic, say, for example, in FSA in level 1, you have about 5 faculty members on that. And I know that in many other places, what people do is that they get one person to teach several modules. So somebody teaching FSA, teaching equities. I'm not saying people can't do that, but I'm saying that we try to get people whose area of expertise and years of experience, apart from the fact that they are charter holders themselves who have written the 3 levels of the exams and understand where students can struggle They understand the new frontier style of communicating stuff to candidates. They they have built expertise in certain areas, and then they're able to bring that part of the curriculum to life and help candidates excel in what they do. Not only our teachers, our faculty members, teachers, they are also mentors. They are dedicated mentors. I've said it, our program is arguably the only program in the world where you can reach out to faculty for at no additional cost, right? And you get free one-on-one consultation. It's go and check it. Go and check our counterparts. Make sure you don't do apples to cherries or do apples to apples comparison. Programs like New Frontiers globally, and check if you won't get to pay consultation fee, and even that in dollars, and it's per hour. And it's per hour. Here it's absolutely free. I've had candidates tell me that I was struggling with a particular topic on FSA, and I reached out, and I'm going to call names of teachers, for example, just so you can know. And I reached out to Bumi. I reached out to Bumi. Bumi is one of our faculties in level 1. And Bumi at 11:30, 11:40 p.m. Yeah? And he said, I'm just dropping this here so that when you wake up in the morning or any time in the day, you can respond to me. And he says, no, I'm awake right now. I'm going to address this. Right? You don't find that level of selfness in so many places, right? It's not common to come by, because the reason why the school was founded was for people to be able to pass their exams. It's been over 15 years I've been doing this, so there is market leadership. There's tremendous experience in terms of more than 15 years. If we combine the years of practice and teaching of all our tutors, it will be multiple times over the number of years that we've been existing, which is 15 years. Right? We offer scholarships, discount offers, and special offers, right? We offer discounts to candidates. We have class assignments, daily quiz, monthly tests, and mock exams to reinforce classes. I mean, before this, you've heard our speakers talk about that tonight, and the value it has added to them. There's a no pass, no pay program that we have, but again, terms and conditions apply. Otherwise, we then have everybody come and say, well, I didn't pass. No, there are terms and conditions that apply to that, which you must show, and then you'll be able to come in. Then, of course, I think this one is one of the biggest as well, candidate support. There are jobs and career opportunities that we offer our candidates. People have picked up their jobs, picked up their careers just by being members of the New Frontiers community, right? The CFA and Life Impact, NF Impact series, like what we are doing tonight, and other ways that we support the market in people just focused on helping people pass the exams. We have tried to stay extremely focused over the years, right? So that and so that people can have great results. Yeah, this is Busola Jeje. Busola Jeje was equity research at Telema, was portfolio manager at Cowrie Wise, yeah, till maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and she's now an MBA candidate at Harvard University. She says, "I'm happy to announce that I passed the August CFA Level 3 exams. My CFA journey has been filled with tears, caffeine, sleepless nights, and panic attacks, but I'm grateful to God that I finished all levels at one sitting. Particularly grateful for the solid knowledge learned and how it has positively shaped my career. Special shout out to New Frontiers Learning Center I use for all my levels and my tutors. I mentioned you saw some of them are founders, Banji Ventola CFA, Michael Ayima CFA, Ayokunle Ojo CFA, Ayokunle Odumi CFA, Ahmed, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. You might know even some of these guys, right? So what program fits you? I'll be speaking mostly about one program tonight, and that's the regular program where we have quite a lot of people attend, right? The regular program. And this program runs both live and as self-paced, right? With the programs, it runs both as live and self-paced. That is, you can attend live or as self-paced during all through your period. Self-paced in the sense that we have recorded versions of these classes that we can share with you, and you can use them to prepare for your exams as well. They are effective. And of course, the moment, whether you're on self-paced or anything, will give you access to faculty where it's needed. But then there's regular program where you come in, you can attend live, same while it's happening live. You have the opportunity to ask the teacher your questions live. You have the opportunity to interact with other candidates live. You have the opportunity to be in the same group as other candidates in your community. And then you can build community, form a team of people that you are banding together to just write the exam and ace it mostly at one sitting as much as possible, right? This is our calendar for next year. For most people who have asked us, our calendar is like a sandwich. the first part of the year and the last part of the year, and then one level 3 program in the middle of the year. So if you plan to write level 3, for example, your classes will run from April to June. But level 1 and 2, you have the January to April class, that 16 weekends of classes, where that caters for folks writing the May exams, right? Caters for folks writing the May exams. So you have to take this period of this period rather of exams, or people writing the November exam, right? You take these ones, right? Those two exams are the ones you then get to take, right? So the May exam, the May and August exam, forgive me, will be catered for by the January to February, January to April classes for 16 weekends, but then the November, the August, the July to October exams caters for November and February, right? So February of 2027 in this case. Okay. So for folks who are in our November class right now, they started their classes around June, is wrapping up in October. They are going to take, there'll be most of them will be writing the November and February exams. But if you want to join our classes in January, then your exams should be in May and August. Of course, all your classes, if you either you attend physically or virtually, you will have access for 1 year from when your classes started to all the recordings of those classes for 1 year. So for the January guys, their classes will be open till December. For the guys who started our program in June, their classes will open till next May. So what that means is that even if you don't get, for the June candidate, if you don't get to write the August exam, you can use it for the November exam, or you can use it for the February exam. And for the guys who attended classes in January, you can use an end in April. You can use it for May, use it for August, and use it for November as well. All right, until the access closes. So again, it's tremendous value more than you get to pay for. Typically before now, when people come to classes, when there were no recording facilities, you come to class again. When people don't pass exams, they come to the classes again to come and but now we are saying no, you have the recording for 1 year from when the classes started. So January to April for next year, May and August exams, then July to October for November and February exams. That's the plan. Okay. In order to improve the chances of the success of our candidates, we came up with something we call the Early Start Program. And what this means is that for 80 days, say from October till January, we are going to give you 80 days of free access to relevant current materials, not stale materials, current material. The current classes that are wrapping up in about 2, 3, 4 weeks, I don't know right now off the top of my head, wrapping up in about 3, 4 weeks. Those classes have been recorded starting from June. You're going to have free access to those classes, more than about 300 hours of lecture videos, right, for free. If you're going to join our January program, this is important. So what that does is, by the time you are resuming for your own live classes in January, you already had 80 days of interacting with our program. The reality is that the amount you pay as a student who enrolls on the Early Start program is the same amount you will pay in January as a student who did not enroll for the Early Start program. So it's tremendous value to you. All the CFA exam topics areas are reviewed inside there. There are solutions to all end of chapter questions, about 1,000 practice questions and answers. We've created forum for additional questions for you, free mentorship. As Ina talked about our Google Drive access with tons and tons and tons of questions. Again, the way to pass this exam is to get familiar with tons and tons and tons of questions. I've not seen anybody who got to solve plenty of questions with the kind of guidance that will provide for them and don't pass. It's important. You have to do the work. But again, these resources will be supplied to you. Free mentorship from industry leaders, access to world-class faculty, peer-to-peer networking, job opportunities, strong community of candidates, and a proven means of success in your CFA exam. Take advantage of this. It's going to start when our classes end in October. I think it's going to start October 21st to maybe January first, second week of January. So whatever you can do starting from October, November, December, at least you have had your first touch. So that when you come in January, that's going to be your second touch. And some of you are then, when your classes are done in April, you will have your third touch of revision for those who want to write mail, or another touch. Still, you still have 1 year of access. It doesn't touch your 1 year of access from January to December till whenever you want to write your exams. With this, you have no reason not to pass the exams. And you won't find it any better anywhere. This is a year and 80 days. This is about 15 months of free access to recordings that you have, apart from attending classes, access not just to classes, not just to recordings, to faculty, to people headed in the same direction as yourself. If you have access for 15 months, I mean, why would you pass the exam? And you can clarify your doubts with faculty, you can clarify your doubts with colleagues. I mean, it's tremendous value. There's no reason not to pass the exam. And this is why I always tell our candidates, there is no reason not to pass your exams, right, when you come to New Frontiers. So classes will begin in 2026 on the 10th of January. Please mark your calendars. However, you don't need to wait till then. Start now. The person who comes on January 10th and says, oh, I didn't hear about the early start, will pay exactly the same amount of fees as this person. Why not start getting the value now? You have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. I mean, people even attend classes before they pay for exams. Just start immersing yourself in the material. You will ultimately write your exams, but then get yourself ready to pass. It's important. And there'll be loads and loads of tips that will also be shared along your journey, right? So dive in and take advantage of it. I'll move quickly to this final one by Folashade Odejayo Ogunbayo, CFA, who works with the IFC World Bank Group. Says the mock exams at New Frontiers Learning helped a lot. The feedback was always good to judge my preparation level for each phase. If you need a prep center, New Frontiers Learning Center is the place. It's unbelievable how many intelligent people you have in one place, right? This is for someone who has gone through our program and understands how these things work. I think and I believe that you should take advantage of this. These are verified people, verifiable people. Even the employers' names have been stated so that you can check for yourself if anything shady is happening here, right? So verify with them, check all these things, and dive into class. Let's get ready. If you want to reach out to us, this is the number to call, Olawale and Isiaka. Phone calls and WhatsApp, or you reach out or you just fill up our form at newfrontierslearning.com/enroll and follow us on LinkedIn at New Frontiers Learning Center. This video, for example, will be uploaded on YouTube. You should visit YouTube and search for New Frontiers Learning Center, New Frontiers Learning Center on YouTube. Search for us. Interact with our videos for free. Interact with the resources that we have. Tell a friend about our program. Join and build your community. You can build your community. You can come with your community to New Frontiers. Come together, right? It's even easier that way. You can hit the ground that way. Coming with more than one person helps you hit the ground running. You already have like-minded people. But if it's just you and you don't have anybody who's willing to take the exams alongside you, come as well. You will build community. All of you are going to find common ground and a place you can call home at New Frontiers Learning Center. Right? Thank you very much. I hope I didn't bore you with my too short presentation, right? So let's get to it. So I'll stop sharing now and you can take the floor. So I think at this time, what we need to really do is to then begin to take your questions, right? Begin to take your questions and your answers. So we'll use the chat, or better still, just use the raise your hand feature, raise your hand, then you can start asking your question. Then we can then take your questions, give answers to them, and be able to help you out tonight. So Oriofe and Azinat, are we ready? Are we back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. Oriofe, are you here too? All right. So yeah. So guys, let's begin to send in our questions. And let's see how we can get in tonight. Okay. Yeah, guys. So you can raise your hand and unmute your microphone. No one is speaking right now. You can unmute your microphone and speak, or you just want to drop your question on the group. Okay. Can you provide more details on the scholarships and discounts? Yes. So we have a scholarship program for level one program for our level one entrance. So the ads will be put out just before the end of the year. So you should watch out for that. Follow us on LinkedIn, you'll get specific details about that and discounts as well. So yeah, our special offers, you get the details on linkedin.com or reach out to anybody on our team. They'll be able to give you more specific details. But typically the advertisement for when to enroll and apply for scholarships happen just before the beginning of the new session, right? So yes, thank you, Grace, for asking. Hope you're satisfied. Okay, let's take your questions. Any other question tonight? Any questions, any comments, any concerns? Let's take them. Let's take them. Let's take them. Yeah, Nena says, okay, so guys, let's take this. So Nena, okay, asks, how many hours per day were you studying on average? How many months did it take you to prepare adequately for each level? Thank you, Nena. So, Orefe, shall we?
Yeah. Yes, yes,
How
yes,
many
we
hours
can.
per day? So how many hours per day
Ah,
studying, and on average, how many months for level one and for level two?
mm. So for me, right, it depends. Right, why I said it depends is that it depends on what are you doing, what's your mode of work, because we have people that we are colleagues together that they are doing NYC or they are in between jobs or they just finished their university education, you know. So those people have they have a lot of time to read. So when that person comes and say he spent 3 months, you will not want to adopt it for you that you are going to work and you are coming back. Sometimes you come back very, very tired. You understand?
Yeah,
So it varies. It depends on what is your work schedule. And again, like I mentioned earlier, your background. Somebody that has finance background, you know, or has done a lot of things that are quantitative related, quantitative finance, and what have you. The person can tell you that I just started doing focus study in 2 months. Like focus study is not doing anything, doing focus study. But I'll take it from the sense that you don't have the recommendation I'm giving. You don't have finance background, and then you are working. That is, you go to work every day,
that's
right?
the worst
So
case.
I would give a recommendation on that basis, right? So for that, I would say 6 months, and you are reading 2 months, 2 hours every day. I would come from that, giving that recommendation with that perspective. So anything in between that, consistently 2 months every day. Sorry, 2 months every work day and 8 hours like weekend.
Aha, exactly.
Let me don't let me yeah, two
Exactly.
hours
Don't miss
every
out the
work.
weekend. Yeah,
Yeah, and public holiday you are reading that 8 hours
yeah,
also. So
yeah.
yes.
In fact, I always tell candidates that for those who have finished their exams, I say, see, you built momentum coming to class for 8 hours every weekend, every Saturday and on Sunday. That's 16 hours. Excuse me. If you continue that momentum on your own, now that like classes are ending, right? Saturday you are off, whether you are off to New Frontiers or a facility somewhere, your office, anywhere, your church, your library, anywhere you choose to go study, fine, right? On Saturday and on Sunday as well, right? So it's a different ball game. So it's important. On average, that's cool. I like the fact that it came from a worst case scenario. But so Azina, let's hear that. How many hours per day are you studying and how many months?
Class, and that was around January, and I wrote exam in May. So that's like
You're
roughly
not so
4
audible.
months.
I'm struggling to hear. Is it same, guys? Can you hear her?
I think it's same for me too. I think
Okay, struggling. Okay. I think she's logged out and tried to come back in. So when she comes back, we'll take that question again. Okay. But Kinsey says, you and the speakers mentioned the curriculum, and you're also mentioning IFT materials. Please, are the materials different? I didn't mention IFT materials for clarity. I didn't. But then there are several study prep providers. Yes. So what has happened is that the CFA, the writers of the owners of the exam, the people who set you have put together what we call the curriculum. The curriculum is the material, and that's what Oriofe and Azinat has alluded to, both alluded to
Sorry,
tonight,
can you
right?
hear me now?
Oh, excellent, excellent. So
Yeah, is it
let's
better now?
Olani, please.
Okay.
You're better now.
Apologies.
It's okay.
Are you sure?
It's okay.
Okay. So,
It's okay.
for me, I
Yeah.
mentioned I started reading Wednesday classes. That was January, so roughly 4 months. But active reading started March, right? And what I mean by active reading, that was when I was settled because I just joined my place of work, and it was a lot of work. So on average, I would say 4 hours because I do wake up every 4 a.m. to study before going for work, and I leave the office 9:30, 10. I still do that till now because I'm still at the office. So I know the entire
Mm,
day is off. Then I still have to go for classes during the weekend. So for me, the
mm,
4 months was sufficient for level one, but I know that would not work for level two. So immediately my results came out, the following
mhm,
week I started classes because now I'm currently attending classes for level two. I don't know how that works for level two, but I just want to have enough time to study because if you are
yeah.
working, just like your mentioned, you might not have the luxury of time, and then the weekends you're attending classes. Maybe that's if you're writing November. I mean, you finish class October, you may not have luxury of
Mhm,
time. So you need to just find that way of balancing, probably studying in the morning or after work. But for me, what works for me is I wake up 4
yeah.
a.m. I study 3 hours before going to the office and try to rough 2 hours at night to just consolidate what I read in the morning. So for me, that would be it. And that's
Mhm.
like roughly 4 months. But active studying started March and 2 weeks to the exam. If you are not reading 18 hours, I don't know what you are doing. For me, I never had 2 weeks to the exam. My parents would literally beg me to stop reading. It was that crazy. Like they would literally tell me to just stop that. I'm over reading that kind of stuff. But that's like 2 weeks to exam, just to ensure that I'm not
Yeah,
leaving anything out.
yeah,
But before then, average of four
yeah.
hours, I think that can work.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So essentially, the intensity builds up, right? So you find your routine, you start in time. Um, the CFA exam is not the time to start testing whether you are a night reader or a daytime reader. If you're busy, is most likely most people that write this exam work because again, how do you get to pay, right? Except again, someone is paying for you, which is fine. But then the part they won't do for you is they won't study for you. So if you are that busy, every single time would count, right? Find the time you can plug in and get it. And if your weekends are ever free, lock them in, nail them, nail them. So thank you very much. So Nena, I hope you're satisfied with our response. Kingsley has asked about the curriculum and IFT materials, whether they're different. Yes, absolutely, they are different. IFT is an okay, yeah, you're welcome, Nena. So is a material or are resources. IFT resources are resources that are created by another study partner. So there are several study partners. There are a lot of people just like New Frontiers who provide these study services. Some offer lectures in classes, like we do. There are all kinds of people as well. So they write their resources. They have books. They have abridged versions to the curriculum. They have some that they have explained in ways that other candidates can comprehend. That's essentially what those resources are. So so there is a curriculum that the institute has created, right? And there are materials by other learning prep, that's what we call them, learning prep providers. They are provided prep materials for classes, and then people just make their choices about which one they want to use. So that's pretty much it about that. Kingsley, I hope you're satisfied as well. All right. So any additional question before we call it an evening? I think we've had tremendous value added to us tonight. So any other questions? We're willing to take them. So one or two more, and we'll be good to go. In the meantime, Azinat and Oriofe, what would be your parting word, to candidates? So if you meet someone who is writing level 1 right now and meets you at a function and says, "Hi, Azinat, I heard you passed the level 1 exam," what will you tell them? Oriofe, I had you pass the level 1, level 2 exams, and you've written your level 3 exams to show you. By the way, you guys are still going for your boat cruise this weekend, right? As in that, are you aware that the level 3 candidates who have written their exams are going on a boat cruise?
I don't know that one. They did not tell
That
us.
information is not for you. When you get to level 3,
It's
they're
classified.
going
No,
for a
do
boat
that.
cruise. Yeah, yeah. They are going for a boat cruise on Sunday, right? So haven't completed their exams, right? It's just such a beautiful thing for them to relax. And it's one of the beauties of coming to
Philip,
New
you'll be
Frontier.
joining us.
Is it?
You'll be
What did you
joining
say?
us. You'll be
I would
joining
love
us.
to join you, but I have a lot of candidates I'm helping succeed. So you guys go have fun.
All right, great,
Right.
great,
I'm
great.
sending I'm sending one of my colleagues to you. But I think there is okay. Joseph is asking a question that is important to him. And I think we should attend to this. He says, yes, please, how did Oriofe manage his boss when his boss did not have the CFA charter while he was pursuing the CFA program? Did he consider that a waste of time, or was the boss jealous or something? So essentially, he's asking, and I think Azina should speak to this as well. Sometimes you guys are dealing with people who are not writing the CFA exams, and somehow they know you're writing the exams. Some people have had quite some bad experiences. This is a good question Joseph has actually asked. How do you, if you have experienced it, and how did you handle it? And if not, how do you think somebody? I think this is a good question to attend to. Who will go first?
I don't know, but for me, I have not been in that position because I've been in my place of
Yeah,
work. All my bosses, that CFA charter holder. In fact, they pay for people
exactly.
to
Yeah,
do. Even by first, when I told, because I joined here, I'm currently serving, though I work as an investment
yeah,
analyst here. The first one is like,
yeah,
if you don't pass CFA level 1, I don't know why you're employed here. Like that kind of ginger is
yeah,
even there to motivate you to like, the people here are smart people and you just cannot even afford to fail. So I don't know, that's the
yeah.
environment where I work at the moment.
Mm,
My boss is the house charter holder, so I cannot say to that
mhm.
because I've not seen that. I've not experienced that.
Excellent, excellent. Very fair.
Same for me. I've never for once experienced that. Although
Mm,
where I currently work, my direct report is not a charter that no, I've written the exam, but never I've had that kind of disposition. He has always been supportive, When it comes to the point that um, I want to go on leave, it was very understanding. Um, but I would answer, how do you resolve that, or how do you work towards that? So, and where I worked previously, my previous boss was a charter holder, so there was no, they pay for your exams and what have you, so there is no issue or plus about that. But how do you handle that as a person? Hmm. It requires wisdom. for me, deep wisdom, right? So for me, I think again, what I believe is this kind of disposition is it might be you misunderstanding some things and also reading meaning um, to a lot of attitude. So how do you handle this? Communicate. Let there be an open communication. Let your boss know that okay, this is what you are doing. And if you believe that giving that kind of attitude, then communicate because so you don't misunderstand or misconstrue a lot of vibes that is coming. So when you communicate to your boss, yeah, you want to write this exam, and I think particularly when it comes to the time of you want to go on leave, right? You want to go for exam leave or for some work, it spill over into your weekend and Saturday and Sunday that you have some work to do and you're going for classes. Is hampering or what is telling on your productivity. But if you communicate early for this time period, I'm sorry, and for that they know that you are delivering value prior to that time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you
Yeah.
need to communicate that for this period. I'm sorry, I might have some delayed response, or I'm still going to respond, but there's going to be delayed response because I'm attending classes for weekends, and this time I want to go on leave, right? And you know, you I usually joke with my colleagues, right? I want to go on leave, and I don't want to go on working leave. I want to focus, please. Having those communication. Take for instance, me going on leave for myself is level 3 exam. I told my boss earlier, like way before time, right? And we structured the team around that. Okay, some of my other colleagues they want to go on leave around that time. Said, please, I'm going on leave. So we structure their leave that is going to come in another period. So if there is ample communication, I think you'll be able to.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do all this and you are not able to solve, you are not able to create. I think you should be able to get somebody more senior
Yeah.
that can help you, or somebody that can help you navigate that. In every organization, I think there should be somebody that would advise you on how you can navigate. It's
Yeah.
not everybody in the organization that would not want you to progress, or do
Absolutely.
that exam. So the wisdom is needed, and I think communication.
Mm-hmm.
We try to read meaning to something that the person is not even thinking about in that direction. So I think
Mm-hmm.
communication will be
Yeah.
able to will be able to handle
Resolve it.
that. That's my own thought process around it and my little
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Thank you, Rafi. I think you've done justice to the question. Thank you very much. So, Joseph, are you satisfied? Please let us know in the chat. Thank you very, very much. Okay. In the absence of any other question, so Azina, like I was saying just before we took in that question came in, as we wrap up tonight, if you met someone at a function, oh, you want to hear me? Hi, Joseph. It's fine. I mean, what Toriofe said is what I would have said as well. There is communicating. Um, sometimes you see, people don't know what you don't show. People don't live in your mind. You must make it clear what exactly you are doing. At the office, it's not, especially when you're writing a professional exam that is tailored towards your career. It's not something you do in secret, if you understand what I'm saying. Right. So you mentioned because of the impact. But I think that the biggest thing is to, long before exam came, long before the season of exam arrived, you are, or you ensure that you're a person of value, right? If there is tremendous value that you are adding already, your bosses will make excuses for you, right? It's important that you're someone that adds value, right, at work. Then you communicate. If you're in a circle of maybe in a place like New Frontiers, for example, I would have said okay, I will assign you to a mentor who is a senior and can help you with things like this. There are our faculty members are professionals, they are seniors, they work in these places. Many of them have experienced this, they have navigated it successfully, right? So there is that. Even there are colleagues in the room who are seniors as well, who can, I mean, and you are studying together, they can wade in and say this is what to do. For all you care. When I talk to people who work in this space, I always tell them, you don't work for, let me take, for example, Azina. Azina says she works for Zrosk Investment Managers. Azina doesn't work for Zrosk Investment Managers. She works in the finance and investment industry. You see, because that market, that industry is very open. Everybody knows what somebody has done. If somebody perpetuates a fraud, it's like it's red flagged everywhere. You won't know, but your name will be everywhere. And if you're exceptional, you have done something, you've closed an exceptional deal, you've done something no one has done before. That news spreads abroad like Wi-Fi as well. So the reality is there may be somebody, there's just somebody somewhere who you don't know, who knows the person and can actually put in a word. But then if you focus on being a person of value, you communicate early enough, your communication is very clear and effective what you're trying to do. It's not going to be difficult to navigate that kind of situation. But then if after you have done all of this, you still have the challenge, then you need to talk to a senior, whether most preferably someone within the organization who is senior to the person in question, right, and can help you that way. Otherwise, you probably should hear what I'm not saying, as it were, because your employer might just be on this call, and I don't want to make things difficult for you on Monday morning. But that's just on a lighter note, right? I hope it's clear. Does it help you now, Joseph? Are you satisfied? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so guys, we still have classes tomorrow. Azinat is going to be in school tomorrow. There are classes tomorrow. Oriofe is the one going on a boat cruise. The rest of us are still going to school. either, we are going to school, either preparing to write exams or helping other people succeed, right? So, um, that's that. So I need to release them tonight. And I need to go get a good night's sleep myself before classes tomorrow. So let's go. Azinat, if you met a candidate for level 1 right now at a function, at nothing that has to do with CFA, and say, hey, congratulations, I had you pass the level 1 exam and I'm planning to write. What would be your part? What would you say to that person? I like that to be your parting word tonight, and the same for all of you as well, level 1 and 2 specifically. So let's go, Azinat.
Okay, for me, I would say it is an amazing one that the person actually have interest in wanting to write. And I would encourage the person to take the time and actually understand, don't just study because you want to pass, study because you really want to understand it. Because I think it helps in your day-to-day activities as if you want to go have a career in finance, right? So for me, and I would also mention that the exam might not be as hard as they say, but then you need to like over prepare to ensure that you're also saying the same thing. Because before writing the exam, obviously you have the mindset that it is very hard, but then it's better to like over prepare than get
Mhm.
to the exam and like, oh, I wish I had done better. So I think that's what I was just saying.
Thank you very much. Put in the work, over prepare if there's anything like that anyway. Right, and just get in and slam the exam. It's better to be over prepared than under prepared. Give it all it takes and give it a lot more than 100%. In some cases, what you're just saying is you can give your best, but in some cases, you must go beyond giving your best and give your all, such that by the time you look back, say there was actually nothing more I could have done. There was nothing more I could have given. You give everything. Right. Well done, Azina. Thank you. Orife, final parting words.
Yeah, so for me, like, it's not only about reading alone. You have to practice a lot of questions, right? And I will speak more specifically to level 2. Level 2 is item set. It's not the strategy you use in level 1 that you are going to use to read level 2. You have to know how to answer the question, right? It's item set. There are like 6 questions coming after a VNet, a case study, a scenario. So you should know how to answer those questions, right? Practice, 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 and then enjoy the journey. Some of my colleagues together were saying that CFA really is not, yeah, it's not only about the exam, it's about the journey, right? Because I kid you not, it's a journey, right? Testing your grit, testing your your discipline, consistency, you know, and having your strategy. Know what works best for you, right? I know your colleague mentioned that, well, some people they read better in the morning or they understand better in the morning or read late into the night. At some point, you have to do the two combined.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
read on the go, read, because of safety, I had to go and get a tab because so that
Mm.
I read in the morning, my transit time, you know, just to see that I put something in my head. So whatever strategies, just put it, give in whatever it takes so that you can come out the best. And again, up, for me, level two also was a great one for me because yeah, I do a lot of valuation financial modeling. And when it comes to the equity investment, I was able to apply it into my work. So it improved the quality of my work, right?
Mm.
It improved the quality of my work. So yeah, it's worth it. I must confess. So practice, know the strategy that works for you, put in the hours, and then success is yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oriofe, and thank you, Azinat, for a beautiful edition of cracking the CFA Level 1 and 2 exams. And we'd like to thank you, our wonderful audience tonight. Thank you guys for joining in. I'm sure tremendous value have been added. I'd like to hear from you. Please remember to reach out to the team, to Olawale and Mr. Siaka. I'd like to say a big thank you to them as well. They've put this meeting together, Mr. Olawale and Mr. Siaka as well, who are our registrar and our client engagement officer. And of course, to our esteemed founders, co-founders, beautiful, wonderful people, and our faculty who does all the amazing work, right? Helping people, helping candidates succeed year in, year out. We're wishing you a very good one and hope to see you in class very, very soon. Thank you very much for showing up tonight. I'm sure tremendous value has been added. Please keep practicing, put your heart in what you've done. And for someone out there who is afraid, don't be afraid. Just start. But get all the support that you can. Just start, but get all the support that you can so that nothing is holding you back. Thank you everyone for joining tonight. Thank you once again, Azina. Thank you, Rafa, for sharing. We look forward to having you guys in school. See you and have a wonderful weekend. God bless you.